其主題演講正式開始。再一次咧，掌聲俾康智成人步操樂團以及咧香港小青步操樂團嘅演出啊，非常之精彩啊！咁表演嘅團體咧係由唔同能力嘅朋友組成，充分表演咗咧共融合作嘅寶貴精神，就好似咧社企民間高峰會一樣，一直都致力推動民商官學跨界別嘅合作，一齊咧努力咁推動社會嘅發展啦同埋進步。咁再一次咧歡迎大家出席社企民間高峰會2017嘅國際研討會。我係今日大會嘅司儀黃全玉 Yuki Wong， 大家下午好。So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for coming to the International Symposium of Social Enterprise Summit 2017. So we kickstart today's summit with a band march-in by the Hong Chi Adult Marching Band from Hong Chi Association. We believe each individual is talented in different way, and by collaboration, we can all unleash the power of everyone to be a change maker, isn't it? Yes, definitely. So now, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Rebecca Yong, Chair of Organizing Committee, Social Enterprise Summit, to come on stage to deliver the opening remark for us. Mrs. Yong, please.
Mrs. Carrie Lam, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the Social Enterprise Summit. 2017 is a very special year. It sees the 20th anniversary of the Hong Kong Administrative Region established. And at this social enterprise, we also celebrate our 10th anniversary, which is a major milestone in the development of social innovation in this part of the world. Looking back, when we first held the summit in 2008, we planted the seeds of social innovation among hundreds of early adopters. Over the years, the seeds have sprung up quickly with support of the government, which has become the major sponsor of the summit. We are able to branch out and organize different forms of events, such as the community hackathons, which are being held in different districts. This is an excellent example of partnership between the government and the civic sector, in which public policy and the civic society has been instrumental in the development of social enterprises over the last 10 years. Despite the sector's small size, social enterprises in Hong Kong have created tremendous impact here and throughout the region, particularly in mainland China and Taiwan. As our work gathers momentum, public awareness on social innovation has greatly increased. This year, a record-breaking of over 3,000 registrants have been recorded, making the summit the key platform for exchanging ideas, solutions, and sharing good practices from Hong Kong and beyond. We are living in an era of profound change to the society. Many of today's most pressing problems, from popular aging to poverty to rising inequalities, require engaging specific sectors and working with complex systems of institutions, stakeholders, and drivers to mobilize solutions. These challenges cannot be solved through piecemeal reform or change within particular jurisdictions. They are rooted in far-reaching and complex systems. To bring about the changes we wish to see, we have to work with the systems or industries in particular paces. On our 10th anniversary, we believe that it is time to move on to a systematic approach to bring about social change. The theme of this year is therefore, as you can see here, Unleashing Systemic Change. In a short while, our keynote speakers will enlighten us on ways to implementing systemic changes in the public and private sectors. We will also hear directly from and interact with 50 speakers and practitioners from 10 different countries and areas on unleashing the powers of business, technology, finance, social services, and community entrepreneurship. And together, we will develop a roadmap for joint actions over the next 10 years, particularly around the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Bay Area, and the Greater China region. We believe that the most useful innovation comes from diversity and direct encounters with people from different backgrounds and experiences. Therefore, we start our program this year with a series of community hackathons, school talks, bazaars, youth training programs, etc., held in 6 districts in Hong Kong from April to October. In addition, the Hong Kong Jam for Young Changemakers and the Be Leaders courses on the B Corp movement were being held shortly before this international symposium. Apart from the keynote speeches and breakout sections, there are also highly inspiring yet very interesting workshops, consultative sections, award presentations, community tours, the B Corp party, and numerous opportunities for networking throughout the entire week from November the 5th to the 10th. Taking this opportunity, I would like to thank the Chief Executive, Mrs. Carrie Lam, who has masterminded the government's social innovation policy herself, the Home Affairs Bureau, and the SIE Fund of the government. The fantastic growth of the summit would not have been possible without their unfailing trust and support. I would also like to thank the chairman of district boards, district advisors, and officers of the 6 districts where the community events were being held. The continuous commitment of our sponsors, partners, and supporting organizations has contributed immensely to the development of the summit over the years. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our heartiest gratitude to all parties involved. The social innovation movement still has a long way to go. There are no shortcuts, and to be part of the solution requires strong empathy and long-term commitment. Positive changes start with us, every one of us here and now. I believe that by joining hands, we can build a better future. And with this, I wish you all a fruitful sharing and a wonderful time at the summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Yong. Please continue to stay. Please continue to stay. As we are going to invite our officiating guests together with our keynote speakers to come up on stage for the official opening ceremony. So may I invite Mrs. Carrie Lam, Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. Mrs. Rebecca Yong, Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit. Dr. Jane Lee, Founding Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit. Yeah, let's give them a warm welcome. And then we have Mr. Ellinger, Chair of Hong Kong Social Entrepreneurship Forum. Up next, we have Mr. Jack Chen, Under Secretary for Home Affairs. Mr. Cho Hoi Wei, Deputy Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit. Ms. Ada Wong, Deputy Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit. Then our speakers, Mr. Geoff Mulgan, CEO of Nesta. Professor Christopher Marquis, Samuel C. Johnson Professor in Sustainable Global Enterprise and Professor of Management from Cornell University. Last but not least, 南都公益基金会理事长徐永光先生。So all the guests on stage, please hold the golden ribbon, and on a count of 3, we will give a gentle pull to unveil the door and bring our summit to an official start. 咁我哋數3、2、1之後咧，就會打開咧身後呢度大門，象徵住咧社企民間高峰會2017國際研討會咧就正式揭開序幕㗎啦。咁不如我哋一齊數3、2啦，好嘛？3, 2, 1. So let's collaborate and unveil systemic change together. 我哋已經見到咧一個系統性嘅社會變革啦。相信咧大家同心合力咧，一定能夠發光發亮、大放異彩嘅。我哋望一望我哋前邊嘅大會攝影師啊！ Thank you. So please continue to stay. 有請大家繼續留步。May we also invite our co-organizers and organizing committee members to also come on stage， 一同咧到台前紀念咧高峰會週年咧呢個珍貴嘅時刻，亦都非常之感謝咧你哋一直嘅支持。So Social Enterprise Summit is organized by Hong Kong Social Entrepreneurship Forum and co-organized by Home Affairs Bureau and Efficiency Unit of the HKSAR Government and 13 civic organizations, supported by over 15 partners and supporting organizations. 咁今年嘅社企民間高峰會咧係由香港創業論壇主辦，民政事務處、效率促進局以及咧13個民間組織合辦，亦都得到咧超過50個合作伙伴啦，同埋支持嘅機構參與，一同推動咧呢個社會嘅企業同埋社會創新嘅發展。So great. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Please be seated. And Mr. Geoff Mulgan, please continue to stay. And in the upcoming session, we will focus on public innovation and collective intelligence for our city. 公共創新同埋咧城市嘅集體智慧。Our keynote speaker is the CEO of Nesta from the United Kingdom. 咁今日嘅主題咧就係公共創新與城市嘅集體智慧。So let's give him a warm welcome.
Good afternoon, and thank you for that introduction. It's a great honour to be here. Speaking between Rebecca Young and Carrie Lam, I feel like a token male amongst the powerful women who run this city. What I'm going to talk about is some of the things happening in the relationship between government and social entrepreneurship around the world. My own career has been roughly split equally between working as a bureaucrat in city government, in UK government, in the European Commission, and Australia, but also working as a social entrepreneur and with civil society on grassroots innovation. And I believe that many of the best answers around the world come when you combine these two together in new ways. And as a regular visitor to Hong Kong, I've been lucky enough to see your great assets, a very competent, confident government, and a very competent, confident civil society. And so this should be a place which is breaking new ground in terms of how they work together. What I'm going to share is a few examples around the world of how governments working with civil society are dealing with some of the issues Rebecca mentioned, aging, taking carbon out of your economy, fraying trust for public institutions, the challenges of aging, or helping young people prepare for the jobs of the future. And nearly all of these I see as examples of what we call here collective intelligence. And in a way, the biggest challenge, I think, for any city or government in the next 10 or 20 years is how to be clever at harnessing the brain power of millions of people, as well as the technological possibilities of next generations of digital tools, from artificial intelligence and data. And that's the task. There are no guidebooks as to how to do this. Everywhere in the world is improvising and experimenting, but I think there are some interesting examples which may be relevant to you here. So first of all, I'm going to say 1 minute or so on 7 of these to prompt our conversation. The first trend is the spread of what are called innovation laboratories within city governments or national governments, working for mayors or ministers or presidents. There are literally hundreds of these now around the world in cities from New York to Seoul in Korea, governments from Chile and Portugal to UAE. And all of them try to be mixed teams, bringing in people from outside government to work with civil servants, often working very fast, solving problems iteratively in practice rather than through big paper documents. And many of them with a strong ethos of listening to citizen experience rather than just seeing things through the lens of bureaucracy. And across the world, many of these are gaining real traction. They're bringing a very different sort of chemistry to the work of government and helping to accelerate the solution of problems. The second trend is related to that, which is the adoption of open innovation methods. These became common in business in the 90s and 2000s when businesses realized their best ideas wouldn't always come from their own in-house R&D teams, but would often come from outside, from startups, inventors, and entrepreneurs. And these methods are now being adopted into government. Obama had challenge.gov in the White House, opening up the challenges of US federal government to anyone to come up with solutions. We run a platform called challenges.org, which is now used by quite a few governments around the world in the same way. And a very live example this month in the UK is part of a government program called the Inclusive Economy Partnership, which is trying to bring together government, the 30 biggest companies in Britain, and civil society to come up with better solutions to problems of mental health, financial inclusion, and transitions to work. And as part of that, we run an open innovation process where any social entrepreneur or innovator can offer their solution, and the best ones then get funding to be tested, proven, and then scaled. So it's a use of open innovation in a 3-sector partnership. The next big trend is around data. We're surrounded by flows of data in business of all kinds in our daily lives. And now I think we're seeing new interesting partnerships of government and civil society using data to solve problems. This has been happening in governments for a few years, for example, using open data sets to predict which buildings are most at risk of burning down. So your fire service acts on prevention rather than cure, as it were. And we're seeing much more ambitious projects in Saskatchewan in Canada, for example, Allegheny in the US, where foundations are working with governments to track data across whole populations to better target social programs, again, to prevent problems, to invest in prevention in a targeted way, rather than dealing with problems once they become acute. And there's much more to be said about data, but I'm convinced these tools, predictive algorithms, AI, etc., will become absolutely mainstream for almost every area of government, and at their best, they operate in an open way, they build partnerships between government and civil society. The fifth trend, very visible in many of the labs, is the use of design methods. The best of design methods start by trying to understand lived experience, what it's really like being maybe a disabled older person isolated at home. They then work in a very open, iterative way to develop solutions. They visualize things. They iterate before taking things to scale. Many of the ideas called design thinking aren't new. They're a little bit of a rebranding, but they're very useful in public bureaucracies which tend to work the other way around, to start with abstract paper solutions rather than with real life. That then takes us to the sixth theme, which I think is more systematic co-creation of solutions, and solutions which also are co-creations between government and civil society. So one example of this is a program we've run at Nesta, my organization, with the government for a few years, called the Centre for Social Action. And as part of that, we try to find the most promising social enterprises and entrepreneurs who could add new resources to the delivery of public services. And we then funded them in a staged way to help them grow. One example of that was a group of doctors working with charities to create a new smartphone-enabled ambulance service. So when you dialed the ambulance, if someone had a heart attack out on the street in Wan Chai, at the same time as calling the ambulance, it would find a trained medic volunteer closer to the patient, and they would be called in parallel, shown where the patient was, where the nearest defibrillator was, and every minute saved on getting to a patient increases the chances of survival by about 10%. So this is a use of technology plus volunteers to enhance a public service. It's now been adopted in New Zealand, in Australia, in parts of India and Latin America, and is a pure example of co-creation. Another example is around fostering for adults with learning disabilities or the frail elderly, and an organization called Shared Lives Plus has adapted the model of fostering for children to adults. So this now mobilizes thousands of families to provide a caring, warm, friendly home for isolated adults and the elderly. And they are then paid a sum of money for providing that service, but it's far superior to many of the often rather cold residential homes which were used in the past. And finally, there's innovation around what I call the boring stuff in government. How do you do things like procurement and money? And here, there's obviously a lot happening in governments around the world to streamline, automate, simplify processes. But some of these are also opening things up for civil society. There's now, I think, nearly 100 social impact bonds globally in use where governments are buying outcomes rather than inputs. We invest in various platforms which make it easier for cities, again, to scan for promising solutions rather than just having to fund inputs and activities. And this revolution in really the wiring of how government works opens up lots of opportunities for much smaller businesses and social enterprises to be contracted by government to help government solve its problems. So lots of things are happening. They're all in some ways experimental, and they all link to the one other slightly surprising trend in governments in the last 3 or 4 years, which is making experimentation more formal. So in the last 12 months, the governments of both Canada and Finland and UAE in the Gulf have committed to experimentalism as really a philosophical approach to policy. Instead of introducing policies at a national level at first, instead try them out quickly, sometimes with a control group to see what works, whether it's in tax collection or helping unemployed people get into a job or recycling and retrofitting. In Europe, there's a number of experiments with universal basic income, radically rethinking welfare. And again, I think this shift to a more humble, open, experimental mindset of government is good for civil society as a whole. So all of these, I think, add up to different ways of harnessing, mobilizing collective intelligence, not just the brilliance of the civil servants and the politicians, or indeed academics in the top universities, but many of them are ways of tapping into the brain power, as I say, of millions of people and the resources of technology and data which are lying around. They're quite exciting, they're slightly unproven, and just to give one example from last week, which I think brings many of these things together, we've just completed an experiment, again, for our government on matched crowdfunding. That's where government funds arts projects if they can use a crowdfunding platform to raise money for themselves. Now that's an interesting new way of working with civil society. It's not an answer to everything, but it's government working in ways which strengthen the relationships between citizens and NGOs rather than bypassing those relationships. And it seems to have gone well, and we're almost certainly going to see it grow. One of the things we've been doing in the last few years, and this is really a sort of final point from me, is to try and improve the skills of both sides of the equation, to help NGOs and community organizations to innovate, and also to help governments be better partners. Some of you, I know in Hong Kong, have used the DIY toolkit, which was launched in Mandarin about 3 years ago. It's had about 1 million users worldwide, which turns the practical tools of innovation, problem solving, scaling in a very simple, free-to-use online format. And we've also been working with governments trying to skill up their officials in how to be, say, good problem-solving partners. Some of that is about very technical skills in how to use data, how to commission, how to procure in more interesting ways. But I think always we find the fundamental issue is really one of mindset. A mindset which is humble, open, willing to take risks, willing to experiment, willing to learn from others, and almost assuming the best ideas will come from the most surprising sources, not from inside your organization, let alone inside your own head. And governments are learning how to work backwards from problems, how to be hungry to learn, adopt, and adapt, and learning how to experiment and iterate rather than having grand paper plans which are then imposed downward through the hierarchy. In the last few years, we've seen some extraordinary examples of public innovation. In India, the Aadhaar project has well over 1 billion people now with a biometric ID, an extraordinary example of radical government innovation. Tiny Estonia introduced e-citizenship, so any of you in this room, if you want, can become e-citizens of Estonia. And we've seen really large-scale partnerships of government and civil society, as in Germany, where 1 million refugees are being absorbed into their housing market, labor market, through a very close collaboration of state foundations and civil society. Those give the lie to the idea the public sector can't innovate. But I think the real challenge of the next 10 years or so is we are going to see an extraordinary flood of new technology tools around data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these things you read about every day in the newspapers and magazines. But all of our experience suggests those only really work if they're allied to human collective intelligence, to these new tools, some of which I've described, which mobilize citizens, mobilize civil society, and combine them with the hardware and the technology to solve problems. That's why this is an incredibly exciting time to be part of any government, because all of this is being invented before our eyes. As I say, there are no textbooks telling you how to do this. Hong Kong, with its fantastic resources in both the public sector and civil society, should be right at the forefront of making this happen. And Carrie Lam, who is about to speak, is better placed to be a leader of this than almost anyone else across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Geoff. Thank you, Geoff, for the insight. And also, we will remember the mindset. Thank you so much. Please take a seat. May we now invite the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, Mrs. Carrie Lam, to deliver a remark for us. Mrs. Carrie Lam, please.
Good afternoon. Rebecca, Geoff, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to this year's Social Enterprise Summit. I'm no stranger here, for I attended this summit in my previous capacity as the Chief Secretary for Administration in 2012 and 2013. I'm naturally pleased to be able to join you again, as this year marks the 10th anniversary of the summit, and I'm honored to address you in my new capacity as the Chief Executive. I have to say that what Geoff has just shared with us in the last 10 minutes resonates a lot with what I have been sharing with my own colleagues in the last 4 months as the Chief Executive. But I think I'd rather deliver my script first and leave the response to the dialogue later on. That the summit has reached this anniversary milestone is due largely to the enduring passion of the organizers behind this global gathering. 10 organizers were behind the first summit. This year, 16 organizations are involved in bringing you together. While only 300 attended the first summit in 2008, some 4,000 social enterprise professionals, entrepreneurs, and others committed to the power of business for good are expected to take part in this event this year. It shows that this summit has grown significantly in scale and has become an annual flagship event in the social enterprise sector. I wish to express my heartfelt thanks to the organizers for their tireless efforts and remarkable achievements. The business for good culture in social enterprise operation always keeps a close tab on the pulse of the community. The sustainable growth of the social enterprise sector can help promote social innovation and address the needs of socially disadvantaged groups. As the theme of this year's summit, Unleashing Systemic Change, reminds us, our social enterprises have always strived to provide solutions and pioneered to implement innovative projects to elevate social problems through cross-sector collaboration. A prominent example in recent months is that some social enterprises have launched housing schemes in collaboration with property owners and non-profit organizations to provide flats at affordable rents for needy families living in meager accommodation. These projects give an encouraging demonstration effect for cross-sector collaboration, which different sectors work towards advancing social good through their joint efforts. From the beginning, Hong Kong's social enterprise sector has been community-driven, with the government playing the supporting role. I have been around long enough to see the significant beginnings of government involvement in social enterprise. One of the first government programs which provides funding support to social enterprise was implemented in the year 2001, when I was the Director of Social Welfare. The program, which is still running up to this day, is called Enhancing Employment of People with Disabilities Through Small Enterprise Project, 創業展才能計劃, or in short, 3E Project. It subsidizes non-governmental organizations to set up small businesses, including social enterprises, that directly create employment opportunities for people with disabilities. This year, the government injects an additional funding of 100 million Hong Kong dollars for the continued operation and expansion of the program, and increases the maximum funding for each social enterprise from $2 million to $3 million. In 2006, as Permanent Secretary for Home Affairs, I helped initiate seed grants to non-governmental organizations, setting up social enterprises through the Enhancing Self-Reliance Through District Partnership Program, or the ESR program. The program works to strengthen district-based poverty alleviation and assist socially disadvantaged groups in integrating into the community. Since its inception, the program has granted 260 million Hong Kong dollars towards the establishment of 205 social enterprises, creating about 5,000 jobs. We would keep track of the operation of the enterprises for a few years after the end of the funding period. And what I find encouraging is that some 80% of the social enterprises are still in operation after the funding period, showing that as long as we give them a little push at the beginning, many social enterprises can indeed be sustainable. My government believes in the power of connectivity. We encourage people from all walks of life, especially the commercial sector, to strengthen cooperation with social enterprises and non-governmental organizations, and to support projects with social value. In this connection, we have already relaxed the eligibility criteria of the ESR program since last year to more broadly benefit social enterprises, while encouraging greater participation of the business sector in social enterprise development. Today, there are about 600 social enterprises in Hong Kong. While that is more than double the total in 2008, it remains a modest presence in a city of over 7 million people. For a mature economy and an affluent society like Hong Kong, we should and we will set a much higher target for social development. To that end, we will take a multi-pronged approach. That includes funding the establishment and expansion of social enterprises and social innovation projects. We will continue to engage intermediaries to provide support to social entrepreneurs, engage partners in formulating and implementing collective impact initiatives, and promote the creating shared value concept in the business sector. In addition, the Social Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Fund will implement new measures, which include providing support to startup social entrepreneurs and ventures through partnership with industry players offering co-working space, and exploring new funding modes by making use of various financial vehicles, such as equity investment or loan guarantee, to meet different funding requirements of social entrepreneurs. We will also encourage public support for social enterprises through publicity and the promotion of cross-sectoral collaboration, as well as social innovation. The tax measure I have announced in my policy address last month, namely to reduce profits tax on the first 2 million Hong Kong dollars of profits from 16.5% to 8.25%, will naturally also facilitate the growth of social enterprises. Speaking of innovation, I would like to thank Geoff for his address just now on public sector innovation, which has given me a lot of encouragement and food for thoughts. I'm happy to note that Geoff will be speaking to my government colleagues tomorrow. As I said, I've been speaking to them for the last 4 months, but I am sure you will be able to inspire them more than myself as the chief executive. I have pledged to inject a new style of governance in my term, an important element of which is to be innovative in serving the public. For that purpose, I've announced in the policy address that I will revamp the Central Policy Unit as the Policy Innovation and Coordination Office. This new office will directly report to me and will help tackle the difficulties that may be encountered in introducing new ways of thinking into the government system and in our search for breakthroughs to the status quo. As you may be aware, we are in the process of recruiting 20 to 30 young people aspiring to pursue a career in policy research and policy and project coordination to join this new office. It will be mutually beneficial. The young people will have opportunities to interact and exchange views with me and other principal officials to gain a deeper understanding and practical experience in public policy. At the same time, they will bring us fresh ideas and suggestions, sort of thinking out of the box, which are essential for innovation. I have high hopes for this office, and I'm looking forward to working with these young people. As the positions are still open for application, if you know anyone who fits the bill and aspires to serve the public, please do encourage them to apply. Before I close, I thank the organizers once again for hosting this summit, and I wish it every success. I look forward to working with you all in creating a better Hong Kong in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lam. Please continue to stay. As the government policies play a vital role in the development of social enterprise and social innovation. Up next, we'll have a policy dialogue on public innovation and collective intelligence for our society. 我哋之後咧會進行一個政策嘅對談，題目咧為公共創新與城市嘅集體智慧。So may I invite our moderator and our panel to come on stage. So our panel includes Mrs. Carrie Lam, Chief Executive of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, Mr. Geoff Mulgan, CEO of Nesta, and our facilitator is Ms. Ada Wong, Deputy Chair of Social Enterprise Summit. So let's hear their thoughts.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We have less than 15 minutes for this dialogue, but I'm sure that we need actually more time. Now, Mrs. Lam and Geoff, you have actually covered lots of points in your speeches. If I could just start and pick a few so that we can start the conversation. Perhaps we can start with labs. Geoff talked about labs being in government. Perhaps, Geoff, you can tell us, what sort of labs work and what sort of labs don't really work. And then Mrs. Lam can tell us that this new Policy Innovation Office, is that a lab or are you thinking about something else? So perhaps we can start from there, Geoff?
In a way that the language, the terminology matters less than having some part of the machinery which is dedicated to innovation. It's the same in business or in science where you have R&D teams and product development teams who focus on the new rather than day-to-day management. I think that the labs which seem to be working best are the ones which navigate a very delicate balance of being both inside and outside at the same time. They're inside enough to know how the system works, how laws are made, how budgets are made, how to work with departments, and that's quite a specialized knowledge. But they're outside enough to be able to tap new thinking from social enterprises or businesses or academics and bring that freshness into the work of government. And the ones which work best, as I mentioned, at the moment seem to be very fast. They move quickly into action, learning by doing, trying things out in the real world, rather than what we used to do when I worked in the British government 15 years ago, where we tended to produce big paper reports, 300-page strategies, working everything through in detail, which would take a year to produce. These ones are much more action-oriented, and I think that's a really healthy thing which is being imported from both civil society, but also the digital startup world, which learns faster by doing than by paper.
Well, adopting Geoff's description, I would say that the Policy Innovation and Coordination Office that I'm setting up is by itself a lab. Okay. It comprises both insiders and outsiders. I've just mentioned the outsiders will be basically young people. Although because we have a piece of legislation against discrimination on age ground, the advertisement actually does not say that you need to be a young person. But I believe that most of those applying will be young people aspiring to learn more about public policy and to make some contribution. So these young people joining the office will be the outsiders, bringing in new ideas. They have never worked in any bureaucracy. They don't like the rules and regulations. They will confront the system and the practices. But as Geoff also said, after all, at the end of the day, we are government. We are public sector. So we do need those basics, those ground rules. So I do have insiders, some senior, some less senior civil servants who will work side by side with these young people. But the ultimate success lies in whether there is what Geoff described in his keynote address, mindset change. Whether the insiders are willing to accommodate the freshness from the outsiders and then make an attempt to try it out. But I do agree that these days, because things are moving so fast and people's aspirations change from time to time, we need to learn by practicing. So these days, in the last few years, we have been seeing a lot more pilots from the government, especially in the social programs. We pilot about supporting carers at home. We pilot about providing rehabilitation services, not in a welfare setting, but in a kindergarten, in an outreaching mode, and so on. So I do feel that it is a time really for more action-oriented, experimental type of public policy. So these days, whenever my senior colleagues come to me with an idea that they want to pursue, but the solution is let's have a consultancy study, I said, no way. No more consultancies and feasibility studies. Get on with it and then allow room for yourself to adjust as the circumstances change or things do not move in accordance with what you plan, then you have that capacity to adjust.
Yes. Thank you. Just a quick follow-up. Usually, labs are quite disruptive and they have really good ideas. But then your secretaries, your team, they might think more thoroughly and they know the context of how the policy evolves. So when there are two sets of advices in front of you, with the young people, opting for a more disruptive approach, and your secretaries a more conservative approach, what could happen?
No, if you have heard what I said, I'm putting this new office directly under myself. So I'll be the one who helps to push, and of course sometimes to help the young people to understand the limitations in bureaucracy. But ultimately, I'm very confident that all of us in the public service actually want to serve the community and to solve problems. So if there is a good enough, I wouldn't say a perfect, but a good enough way to try out to solve a problem, why not? I just want to share with you this incident because Ada and I are sharing this platform this afternoon, and Jack Chen is in the audience. The three of us have put up a lab, which is the Blue House cluster, isn't it right? 10 years ago, we have this cluster of historic buildings in soon-to-be gentrified area in Wan Chai. And we experimented with something which was totally unprecedented. That is, we want to preserve not only the buildings, but the social fabric, the neighborhood, the then tenants living in these very old, dilapidated buildings. So this was really unheard of with the government. And just borrowing what Ada said, we did receive a lot of resistance within the government. You shouldn't do that. That is too troublesome. But we soldiered on and we succeed. And I'm very proud of it. So I want to say this, that this Blue House cluster has won the UNESCO highest award this year in heritage conservation.
Yeah. Yes, it was a very proud moment for me as well, having fought for it and having, your blessing in this very new approach that the old people who used to live there for 40, 50 years can play a part in its revitalization. Okay, if we can switch the topic a little bit, I remember that Mrs. Lam in her policy address also acknowledges that we do have legislations and regulations that are impeding innovation and technology. For example, our social innovation sector is really pushing a sharing economy. But we know that we have got lots of regulations that are really not conducive to the sharing economy. Geoff, all the different ideas of sharing economy. What are other governments doing when there is vested interest in not wanting to change, and when there are innovators like I know several ideas at the Good Lab, but they stopped midway because they cannot move on with all the legislation impeding its growth?
I think with many of the issues we're talking about, the sort of design challenge for government is how do you create a route way from the germs of a good idea, which may come from teenagers or entrepreneurs or whatever, and starts very small, and how does it end up part of the mainstream? And you don't jump from one to the other, you need stages. So each stage, the idea is given a chance to develop, to prove itself, to grow capability. step by step. And I think a lot of the practical stuff we're doing in countries like the UK and Canada is making that quite systematic. So you can see the route map, as it were, and therefore risk is managed from a government point of view. And this also applies to regulation. So it would be mad when a new idea comes along just to change all your regulations overnight. But instead, regulators are working on what we've called anticipatory regulation, where again you provide a sort of route map where a new idea can be tested out. It could be tested out through simulations or through a real-world test bed, and then stage by stage, the regulation adapts to it. That's been done very successfully in finance, in fintech, where there's a whole set of tools like sandboxes and so on. We're seeing it with the Internet of Things. We were both in Seoul a couple of weeks ago, which has a whole area, the IoT testbed, where entrepreneurs can try out new ideas working with the regulators. And we're doing a version of that with children, where actually 11 to 16-year-olds are coming up with Internet of Things inventions, which actually pose quite interesting challenges to the regulators who've never talked to a child before.
But how would you tell the vested interest?
Sorry?
Like if there's an Uber, how do you tell the taxi drivers that it's quite all right?
Well, the virtue of the anticipatory regulation models is they create a safe space for the insurgents, as it were, to try out their idea, and you can keep the incumbents at bay while they become more confident, they prove their models, and then spread. There's a great example we're running at the moment in Britain on open banking, where the regulator has forced the big banks to open up their small business data. Through Nesta, they are funding now dozens of entrepreneurs to come up with new services which use that data. And although the incumbents obviously don't like this will improve competition, improve customer service, and improve the competitiveness of our industry. So it's a model we would like applied to other sectors like energy and housing, where the regulator actually gets stuck into innovation, very much with the mentality Mrs. Lam was talking about.
Yes, and your thoughts, Mrs. Lam, on this?
Well, in my blueprint to promote innovation and technology in Hong Kong, I did promise that we will review some existing legislation to remove the really obsolete things which are stifling this innovation and new economy and so on. And this assignment will go to the new Policy Innovation and Coordination Office. But I do share Geoff's view is very often if we take things stage by stage, try out and try to convince people, demonstrate the benefits of that particular new approach, that will help to a certain extent overcome the resistance. But what is always very tricky is this thing called vested interest. If you affect too seriously the so-called vested interest, then it will be a test of political determination to press ahead.
Okay. A quick question before we end. Geoff, you mentioned the synergy between government and civil society. For that, I totally agree. But we also need businesses to come in. So this tri-sector concept, having government, business, and civil society to agree on one thing and to work together, and that seems actually a little bit impossible. Have you seen good examples of tri-sector collaboration for social innovation?
Well, as I briefly mentioned, we're in the middle of an attempt to do that in the UK with around mental health, financial inclusion, and transitions to work. And these are all topics on which business has a very big role to play. So on mental health, getting employers to take seriously their obligations to the mental health of their employees is in a way a bigger lever to pull than almost anything government can do. So on that, the government has brought together a tri-sector partnership formally. It has a sort of a council and committee and structure, has a very open innovation process to feed in the best ideas from communities, very small ideas, but also is looking to businesses to generate CSR projects which could be scaled, and then because it's within government, can systematically go through the policy barriers which may be impeding those from growing. I'm not sure whether it will work. It's a work in progress. We will know by early next year whether this is a good model, but at least it's got everyone round the table and is very focused on practical solutions. It's not talk. It has to find scalable solutions by January, which can be invested in. And that's a kind of language business can understand. We will then have formal metrics to assess how effective it's all been. And just one final point, all of this is only possible with leadership. You know, there has to be courageous leadership from within the system, and in the case of business, from the chief execs who we've got on this council. Otherwise, it's very hard to unlock the energy and the resources of their big hierarchies.
In Hong Kong,
to answer your question, Ada, you people have to come back 3 hours later. I'm coming back to this venue 3 hours later to deliver another speech and to present awards to business which are doing that sort of thing, what we call creating shared value. So I think we are seeing the beginning, and it is not impossible really for corporates to sort of incorporate good practices that promote personal and social good in their daily business. I've seen good examples in the insurance sector in terms of health promotion, and in the F&B sector in terms of environmental protection, waste reduction, and so on and so on. So there are plenty of examples of that nature.
Yes, and I certainly hope that we can hear new names. I'm a bit sick and tired of hearing the word collusion. Whenever you have new initiatives, you work with government. I think we need new concepts and new ideas, and I do hope that innovation is really the buzzword of your administration lately. And I can only say that everybody here is ready to take part in this new innovation ecosystem that you'll build. Okay, thank you very much. Could we all give a big applause to our Chief Executive, Mrs. Carrie Lam, and Geoff Mulgan, CEO of Nesta. Thank you very much.
Thank you, panel, and our moderator. May we invite all of you to stay on stage for a souvenir presentation. May we invite Ms. Ada Wong to present a souvenir to Mr. Geoff Mulgan, and Mrs. Carrie Lam, please also come forward to be in the group photo with Ms. Ada Wong and Mr. Geoff Mulgan. 咁而家請咧黃英琦女士咧致送紀念品俾 Mr. Geoff Mulgan， 行政長官林鄭月娥女士咧一同合照。Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please be seated. 行政長官咧今日因為有其他公務在身，我哋會先恭送行政長官。再次多謝咧行政長官嘅出席今日嘅開幕典禮。The Chief Executive has to attend other official duties and will leave the venue now. We sincerely thank Mrs. Lam for attending today's opening ceremony. Thank you very much. So how can business have a positive impact on society and the environment? That's probably a question that many are facing. And we have come to the second session of today, themed Rethinking Capitalism. And 而家咧係今日咧第二個主題，再思資本主義。So after the keynote speech, there will be an interactive Q&A session. So if you wish to pose questions to our speakers, please submit through the online system. 我哋今日嘅主題分享之後咧，會有答問嘅環節。咁大家咧一陣間都可以參考咧我哋熒幕上嘅資料，透過網上嘅系統咧向我哋嘅嘉賓發問㗎。So with us today, our keynote speaker, Samuel C. Johnson Professor in Sustainable Global Enterprise and Professor of Management from Cornell University from the United States of America, will come to deliver a keynote for us. Let's invite Professor Christopher Marquis, please.
Great. Well, thank you very, very much. It's a true honor and pleasure to be here today for the 10th Social Enterprise Summit, and really want to congratulate the organizers for having built such an amazing and successful platform. The focus of my talk today is on business and social innovation. And as the panel just reminded us, actually for social innovation and change, you need three sectors. And this first panel actually focused very much on sort of the connection between public and civil society actors. And so my focus today is going to be on business and social innovation. So just to be clear, what I mean about business is for-profit enterprises. So these are companies, organizations that actually have a profit motive, but they also have a very deep social mission as well. And the social mission for the company it's going to talk about, in most cases, is as important or perhaps even more important than their financial mission. I'm going to particularly talk about the B Corporation movement, as Rebecca mentioned in her opening statement. This is a big movement that's occurring around the world and actually increasingly important in Hong Kong. And the two sort of things I'm going to talk about, sort of the key themes of it, is that this is not something that just private actors, entrepreneurs can change, but actually requires changes in norms, changes in regulations. And these are the kinds of things that B Lab and B corporations are working on. So this trend that has occurred, that we've talked a little bit about already, connecting sort of business, financial value, financial logics, and social logics, has been occurring over the past 20 years. So you've seen this in NGOs with increasing commercialization, increasing professionalization. You've seen this in businesses, as I mentioned, really taking on key social missions as part of their core corporate purpose. Where I'm going to focus, though, today is on this lower half, as I mentioned, about businesses taking on social missions. The sort of social entrepreneurs in the nonprofit sector, sort of equally interesting and important, but not my focus today. Many have talked about this sort of business, social purpose businesses as a fourth sector. And there's been some work on this, and this is where I get to, the talk about sort of norms and institutions being so important, because without successful regulation around sort of a new corporate form, this will not take off. The reasons why this has actually been occurring, if you think about many of the global financial crises, business ethics crises, questions of sort of changes in generational leadership. There's a lot of questions that have been raised about sort of the financial logic that has driven so much of business over the past century. And people now want something better. And this is really very much a grassroots, bottom-up movement. So you have consumers wanting very much to work with ethical companies. You have investors wanting to invest in companies that give back and make a difference. And you have the social entrepreneurs themselves. So people who believe in actually not just having a profit motive, but also actually achieving a social mission as well. Part of this trend is actually looking beyond just simple products. So many of us, we want to buy sort of ethically produced, sustainably produced products. But really, actually, the questions that people are starting to ask is about the companies underlying this. Is it a company that treats its employees well, in addition to actually selling good products? Is it a company that actually is environmentally sustainable? Is it a company that actually treats its community well? And so this focus on B corporations as a certification and a way to actually measure a company's sort of core social purpose and social sustainability is an increasing trend. One quick example of what sort of this looks like, it's a very simple example. There's many more complicated ones, but I think this is a very useful one. Warby Parker, it's an eyeglasses company, very popular in the United States. Some of you may have heard of it. So the founder of Warby Parker, the picture of him there, named Neil Blumenthal, actually worked for 5 years before founding the company as the executive director of Vision Spring, which provides sort of glasses to underserved populations in India. And so he realized, as well as some of his sort of friends and colleagues, said, okay, actually if I create a glasses company, we can sell glasses and actually more effective, have more money to give back, basically. And so they implemented this one-for-one model where for every pair of eyeglasses sold, they actually give one away in the developing world. And you can imagine that, having sight, sort of eyeglasses is a tremendous economic benefit to individuals around the world. Sort of studies, as the slide indicates, suggest a 20% greater income just from getting getting eyeglasses, and over 1 billion people around the world don't have eyeglasses. So far, Warby Parker's given away about 2 million, and this trend is only sort of increasing. Also, I should mention, as I noted, these are companies that actually are financial, sort of profit-oriented companies as well. And so, Warby Parker in its recent sort of round of funding just was valued over $1 billion. So this is something where actually having a social mission, having a social purpose, but then also, making some money too. Around the world, this is, sort of ripe terrain. Geoff Mulgan just mentioned sort of in the UK, many of the sort of innovations there around social enterprises. Many social enterprises with favorable laws there, and in Germany. And these are organizations, nonprofits or other types of corporate forms where, companies and individuals are sort of working to both sort of deliver a social good and in many cases also deliver a profit. The U.S. Sort of lagging a little bit, but I think as you can see with many of the businesses in the U.S., sort of 7.5 million, there's a tremendous potential for this to grow as well. Ms. Lam mentioned much about how the Hong Kong Special Economic Region is focusing on shared value as a concept, and you hear about this frequently. You hear about things like conscious capitalism, and these are very important trends, of course. But at their root, in my opinion, they somewhat miss the point. Because what they actually focus on is creating an economic rationale to do social good. So, companies want to do something sort of social in their industry because they actually can create social value, but then also create financial value. So the idea being that there's sort of an economic logic that drives the social logic. So B corporations and B Lab, which is where I'm focusing on here today, is actually about sort of creating and sort of questioning what the purpose of organizations is. And it's not just about sort of saying, okay, you should do this social program because it's financially good, but actually business and society are inextricably linked. And organizations can actually both have financial objectives and success and social objectives and success. But this creates many challenges. In our panel, they just reminded us, discussing the challenges of this tri-sector work, sort of business, government, civil society working together. And some of the key things that I think are impediments, particularly to bring business to that conversation, because really, governments and civil society have for a long time been working together, is sort of issues of institutions and norms, as I've sort of classified them here. One, so institutions, the law is in place, so in many places, it's actually businesses is required to have fiduciary duty as its first priority. This isn't the case anywhere. Geoff and I were talking before the session, and actually many of the corporate forums in the UK do not have this requirement, which is good. However, capital markets frequently, investors have very little way of understanding and assessing social purpose businesses. So in many ways, need to change change the institutions of government and change the institutions of the capital markets in order to really foster this movement. And second of all is norms, and this is actually, what's sort of in people's heads and what people think is appropriate. And the idea that social businesses can be for social good too is many times hard for people to wrap their heads around. And so I think when I talk a little bit about B Lab and B corporations, where I think they're very important and gaining traction is this idea of actually breaking down these institutions and actually fostering norms to create shared value. So here's some of the names, some well-known names that actually are B corporations. 3 currently in Hong Kong. And like I mentioned, the power of this movement is really that it is focusing on, sort of institutions and norms. So it's not just about these B corporations, but actually it's about changing institutions and norms in society. So I've written a few case studies on this. And I mentioned, so that they're doing this institution building and norm changing. So here are some examples of this. Sort of one is creating new legal forms, which has actually been, passed a number of states in the U.S. as well as a number of countries globally. Creating new sort of markets. Creating new sort of standards of investment valuation, changing norms. Actually, this idea of B corporations is tremendously important in many of the work that they've done. And as Rebecca mentioned in her opening remarks, there's been a number of those activities actually ongoing here over the past few days, where a number of sort of emerging B corporations in Hong Kong have gotten together with a variety of other actors internationally. Okay, so the theory of change in some ways, or behind this, is sort of these 3 pillars here. So in some ways, this focusing on the entrepreneur is very much, when I say this normative component, sort of changing sort of what it is to be an for-profit entrepreneur and also having a social vision. And then sort of the institutional changes, the legal impediments, and also the frameworks for investors. I'll say a little bit about each. I want to emphasize, I'm from the U.S., and many of the examples I've talked about are U.S.-based examples. However, this is a global movement, and actually over half of the B corporations are international. Actually, here with us today and tomorrow, actually, there's a special number of sessions on B corporations, which I encourage you to go to. Latin America, so the leader of the Latin American projects, leader of Australia, and the UK are all with us and actually are involved in the sessions tomorrow. And so, this is a movement around the world, not just in the US. Okay. So some quick examples. So Natura, the Brazilian cosmetics maker, sort of largest cosmetics maker in Brazil, and also a public company. Is a B corporation. Unilever, the CEO of Unilever has in many occasions said, this is actually the purpose of what business should be. Great. So some reasons why this is important is actually B corporations have been shown to engage talent better, so actually have, sort of give back to employees, as well as consumers think this is very important. So, many consumers, they want sustainably produced products, and finding B corporations is a way to do that. The second sort of pillar is the legal one, and as I mentioned, so B corporations, or B Lab has been very, very successful in the United States, passing a number of benefit corporation laws so that companies can have multiple stakeholders as their sort of key focus. Many other countries have passed these laws as well, or have them in process. A couple examples. So the first example I want to give is Danone. So you might be familiar with Danone, the French dairy products maker. So their U.S. subsidiary, $6 billion company, is actually a benefit corporation. Just recently merged with another company, White Wave, and they decided to actually be a benefit corporation. So this is a concept that actually has scale. Finally, just very quickly want to mention a few things about the investment markets. So, we have here, you can see here this spectrum between social returns and financial returns, really sort of traditional investments and philanthropy in these two sort of quadrants. And really what we're talking about here, I'm sorry, the slide actually didn't transition very well, is about impact investing. So sort of the sweet spot between sort of high financial returns and high social returns is where many, many investors nowadays are focusing their efforts. Okay, let's skip over these. Okay. This impact investing ecosystem is global too, as I mentioned. So this is something where, again, sort of in many cases, not just developed countries, but also around the world. Finally, I just want to say a little bit about, talked about how, South America, Australia, the UK and Europe have really fostered this movement. What about sort of the Greater China region? And so, we have here in Hong Kong today, there's actually, I think I have 3 listed up there. However, there are actually, I understand now 4 benefit corporations, but the directory has not been updated yet. Mainland China 6. Taiwan 21, so not a ton, but this is actually an area where I think sort of the next big growth surge will come from for a couple reasons. So one, I talked about norms and how important norms are to this. So this forum, I think, is one representation of sort of how in Hong Kong, also I understand in Taiwan, sort of the focus on social entrepreneurship, social enterprise is very deep. I think mainland China, for instance, it's very important as well because many times with the limits on NGOs historically, entrepreneurs have had to be very creative in how they, sort of the organizational forms they use. So I think that actually sort of this idea of social purpose businesses, it has a lot of traction. And I think also institutions, I think all 3 regions, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and mainland China have different legal systems. So, there'll have to be different situations worked out in all of those. But I think, as far as the provision of capital side of institutions, for many of the folks I talked to, some of them here from the Loping Foundation and other organizations, there's a tremendous focus on impact investing in China. And so these things suggest to me that the next area of growth for these B corporations, social purpose businesses, is actually going to be in this Greater China region. And I also just want to sort of call out, so here are 3 of the 4 current B corporations in Hong Kong. So finally, sort of in conclusion, just want to say a couple things. So these social businesses expanding throughout the world, dissatisfaction with the current systems, sort of current, financially driven systems. Also demographic trends. So the youth, Generation X, Generation Y, as they're known as really want to actually give back. In addition to working, they actually want to find positions where they can have a social impact as well. So that's very important. However, for there to be a real fourth sector in some way, so the recognition in society and through the law that this actually is a special, its own type of organization, requires changes in sort of institutions and norms, and I think this is where the work of B-Lab is very important. And as I just mentioned on the previous slides, I think the Greater China region is very well positioned to be sort of the next set of leaders on this. And as all of you sort of attend the sessions tomorrow, I hope you can attend the ones on B corporations and be very much a part of this movement yourselves. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Marquis. Please continue to stay on stage. Let's invite the founding chair and CEO, Education for Good, CIC Limited, Dr. KK Tse, to come on stage to see what's his view. 咁我哋有請咧人人學社嘅創辦人及首席導師謝家駒博士咧作回應嘅。咁需要即時傳譯耳機嘅朋友咧都可以舉手咧，等我哋嘅工作人員知道㗎。如果有需要及时传译耳机的朋友，可以举手，让我们工作人员知道。谢谢。
Okay, thank you, Chris. I have only 5 minutes, so I'll try to use it as effectively as possible. I will condense my message into one word, urgency. Urgency, a sense of urgency. Now, Professor Marquis has told us about the global setting of creating shared value, conscious capitalism, and the rise of B Corps. They're happening in different parts of the world. Why? Why do these things come about? I think it has to do with something very recent in history. Now, all of us here know that in the past century, 20th century, the first half, we experienced 2 world wars. And in the second half, there was a major competition between 2 economic systems, the socialist system and the capitalist system. But during the 70s and 80s, when China began to open and have reformed, China adopted a role, the so-called socialism with Chinese characteristics. To outsiders, this so-called socialism with Chinese characteristics has more in common with capitalism than socialism. And then came 1989, when the Soviet Union, USSR, collapsed. And suddenly, the competition between capitalism and socialism ended. The winner was capitalism. Capitalism became supreme, almost the only system available. But it didn't mean that capitalism is perfect. Actually, after that, for the next 20, 30 years, capitalism experienced unprecedented crisis. First came the millennial dot-com bubble. Then 2008 financial tsunami. And in the past 20 years or so, there has been a very deep, major rethinking of capitalist system. And there have emerged quite a number of movements to rethink, revamp capitalist system. And what is at stake is not just the capitalist system, but the entire human race. So there is for all of us here, there is a sense of urgency that we must do something to let this system do some fundamental changes so that world civilization can continue. And that's why I, close to 7 years old, still have this urgency and drive to promote the B Corp movement, because I really think this is very urgent. And then yesterday, I met someone at their dinner, and an elderly couple who have founded a new organization, which happened to be certified as a B Corp. And the name of this organization is inspiring. It is called It Must Be Now. It must be now. And this echoes this sense of urgency that we should all have. This is my response to Professor Marquis' comment. I think he gave us a very good overview of what is happening in the world and in Hong Kong. We should have this urgency to change the capitalist system. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, KK. I totally concur and agree.
Okay, are we supposed to have some questions on the screen?
Right, we're supposed to.
Well, we are, okay, some questions now. Well, they are gone. Wow, sitting there, can't see the questions.
Should we step up?
Yes? No, there's
They're
nothing
not
here.
showing. They're not
Nothing here. Okay, B Corp movement was launched 10 years ago. Why are there only 2,200 certified B Corps in the entire world? Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, good question. This is something, you may wonder. So Rebecca opens the session, mentions B corporations a number of times. I show a slide. There's 3 B corporations in Hong Kong. Worldwide, there's 2,300. So why are we making such a big deal out of this? A couple reasons. One, I think that the reason why there's only 2,300 is that the standards are incredibly high. So, the B Lab, when they did the standards, they said, okay, we actually want to have a standard that means something. So when a company is a B corporation, it actually is something that, focuses on its employees, environment, et cetera. So I think one reason why there's only 2,300 is that the standards are incredibly high. The second reason is very much the change strategy of B Lab is not about having millions of B corporations. It's actually about changing the fundamental sort of assumptions of what it means to be a corporation. And this, so, their goals are changing the laws, which they've done, changing investment, investment, measurement, social measurement, and markets, which very much, the number of private equity venture capitalists that invest in social purpose businesses has exploded over the past 10 years, and all major venture capital companies have at least one, or in some cases many, social purpose businesses in their portfolio. And so I think these are changes that very much stem from this movement, and in some ways, the B corporations is one visible element of that, an important element, but really, it's the other issue, the other projects, initiatives that they see as having a bigger effect of actually changing what it means to be a business.
Thank you. Now, the second question is, why do we need B Corp if we already have ESR, CSR, etc.?
Yeah, so I think that this is, sort of I alluded to this question a little bit when I contrasted it with, creating shared value. So in many ways, CSR is about sort of justifying in an economic terms of why a company should do good. In many cases, it's things like philanthropy, things that might not actually be connected to the mission of the company. So B corporations is actually about sort of reimagining in some ways what it means to be a corporation and having social benefit at the core of the company. So it's not to say that the company shouldn't make money, but actually it should have a social purpose at its core. And CSR is usually like an add-on in some ways to a company, not at its core.
Now, we are running out of time, but one last question. Professor Marquis is actually teaching in China 2 months in the year. I'd like to know, do you think the Chinese government will embrace B Corps?
You know, that's an interesting question. To be honest, I'm not sure. You know, I mean, there have been a variety of changes recently to the NGO laws, you know, which suggests that actually, you know, there is an interest in creating sort of formalization in other sectors. So I think that, you know, B Corporation is a very useful framework to follow because, you know, it's been tried and tested over 10 years, and actually there's very well thought out metrics in how to actually measure and assess the company. So, you know, I can't predict whether or not, but I would actually encourage the Chinese government very much to embrace B corporations.
Okay. With that note, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Zhe and Professor Marquis. Please stay on stage. And may we invite Dr. Zhe to present a souvenir to Professor Marquis and take a group picture together. So the souvenir is actually from La Spiritude and is a wine glass charm. And it is SE to support women who need a flexible work hour and work at home. So thank you very much, and please take a seat. Thank you so much. So it has come to the third theme of today's summit, a decade of cross-sector collaboration. 不經不覺咧，我哋已經嚟到今日咧會議嘅第三部分啦，就係跨界別嘅10年合作。So there will be an interactive Q&A session as we have just tried. So if you have any questions, do throw in so that we can know more about what the audience thought. So with us today, we have our facilitator and panelists. And may we invite our facilitator and panelists to come on stage. So our facilitator is co-founder and chairman of Dialogue in the Dark Hong Kong, Mr. Patrick Zhang. 黑暗中對話香港有限公司聯合創辦人及主席張瑞林先生。And our panelists, Mr. Xu Yong-guang, chairman of Narada Foundation, 中国南都公益基金会的理事長徐永光先生。And then we have Dr. Jane Lee, founding chair of Social Enterprise Summit, 社企民間高峰會嘅創會主席李正儀博士。咁我將時間交俾佢哋。
Good afternoon. Thank you. For those who need a translating machine, would you please indicate it to the working group so that they could bring you? We are about to switch language to Mandarin. This whole session will be conducted in Mandarin. 今天非常的荣幸有2位重量级的人物，一位是我已经认识13年的徐永光先生。徐永光先生过去25年都是变革者啊，因为他从那个政府作为那个共青团的组织部长，在事业高峰的时候下来创办那个中国青年基金会然后就是做出第一次尝试，然后在以后的25年不断的在做公益创新的尝试啊，所以现在呢，请到他来给我们分享中国过去10年公益跟社会企业这2个力量的发展，是非常的荣幸。那个李静莹博士大家都认识了，这推动我们社会企业的发展已经是10年了，既是商界的人，也是对政府运作非常了解，也是这个现在圣公会的CEO， 所以也是一个属于跨界的人物。过去10年，他也在香港推动这个社会企业的发展跟公益的发展。所以呢，李博士也有跟我们分享他的一些观察。首先，我们就请徐永光先生给我们做出你的分享哈。
非常感谢又给我这样的一个机会。每次参加香港的社企峰会和香港的社会企业的先进们交流，总是受益良多。 那么今天呢，我想借这个机会呢，给各位朋友介绍一下中国内地社会企业和影响力投资方面的一些最新的情况，主要是讲一些案例吧。最近中国慈善家杂志这个发表了对沈南鹏先生的采访沈南鹏是红杉资本的创始人。那么沈南鹏讲，他这个未来会更加关注社会企业的投资。那么8年以前，沈南鹏先生基于对普惠金融的了解，投资了中国扶贫基金会创办的小额贷款公司中和农信。那么这个中和农信得到红杉资本的投资以后呢，业务迅速的发展，到现在为止，他们累计发放了小额贷款177万笔，贷款总额是212亿人民币，惠及贫困农户400多万，取得了巨大的成功。沈南鹏呢，对中和农信的投资，它是他最引为自豪的一项投资。现在红杉资本已经成为内地的中国社会企业和社会投资联盟的核心成员。另外一个事情呢，是10月30号，北京的《经济日报》报道了中国影响力投资忠实践行者雨虹投资。这个雨虹投资，他们成立10年来，坚持以食品安全、健康和低碳等民生产业作为主要的投资方向，叫做不为钱马首是瞻。他们投资的浙江绿康医养这个院，就是一个专门针对失能失智老人的一个专业的医养结合的机构。那么绿康原来是一个民办非企业单位公益机构，他们成立8年，只运营着700张床位。后来雨虹投资帮助他们转型为社会企业，他们才能拿到投资，因为公益机构没法得到投资。那么投资之后3年多时间，绿康医院的床位就扩张了10多倍，现在已经成为亚洲最大的医养结合连锁机构。那么绿康运营的设施绝大部分是政府投资建设，委托公司管理的。那么这就是一种融合政府的公共服务责任、商业管理模式和公益服务理念的一种新型的社会经济平台，也可以称之为超越3大部门的社会第4部门。那么上面2个案例呢，具有某一种标志性的意义。沈南鹏是福布斯2012和到2016全球最佳投资人榜单中排名第1的华人投资者。那么对于雨虹投资机构的报道发表在《经济日报》，这是一家国家的主流媒体，这说明国内社会企业和影响力投资已经不再局限于公益部门的倡导，开始进入了市场主流。今天上午我在深圳和这个原来的招商银行行长马卫华先生见面，他创办了深圳国际公益学院公益金融与社会创新中心，致力于中国影响力投资的推动和发展。对于影响力投资渐入中国市场主流的判断，马行长力表赞同。那么我最近还发现，在中国内地，在社会企业和影响力投资领域，不仅有深圳残友这样的以残疾人就业为主体的高科技企业集团，还出现了可以与印度孟加拉 PK 的服务金字塔底部人群的大型社会企业服务群落。那么这就是中国初级卫生保健基金会。这个基金会成立20多年来，本着人人享有基本卫生保健的一改目标，成功探索以政府为主导、以公益为纽带、以高科技为手段、以专业医疗机构为技术保障的服务模式， 走出了一条公益与社会企业联动、大规模高效率解决贫困人群看病难、看病贵问题的一种可持续发展的道路。到今天为止，这家基金会和它的这个合作机构在全国开展消化道肿瘤筛查服务达到3600万人，查出癌前病变20多万例，查出癌症6000多例，其中70%属于早期发现，直接拯救了4000多人的生命。他们还为1000多万妇女提供了妇科5项检查，查出宫颈癌、乳腺癌1700多例，癌前病变4000多例。他们开展的新生儿基因筛查项目已经在全国筛查了100多万人，其规模是在全国同类机构居首。那么基金会的服务项目覆盖了全国1000多个县，惠及人口8000多万。那么公益服务经常和免费相联系，服务人群越多就越烧钱。面对着资金的天花板，解决社会问题只能浅尝辄止，难以规模化。这个2004年全球企业战略思想家 C.K. 普拉哈拉德的著作《金字塔底部的财富：为穷人服务的创新性商业模式》面世，启发全球社会企业家服务金字塔底部的40亿穷人，来开拓新兴市场，从中盈利。在建立创新性商业运营模式的同时，减少贫困，消除人类的苦难。那么中国的这家基金会能够把项目做得如此之大，但是他们烧钱不多，正是从服务穷人当中发掘了财富，建立了可持续的发展模式。他们的项目不是都是免费的，一部分项目有受益者自己付费，或者有政府买单，并且有企业提供服务。因为规模化和科学管理，这个创新体系的服务成本非常低。比如说，胃镜的检查和新生儿基因筛查项目，他们所收的费用只是医院的1/5到1/10，但是是至高价廉，还略有盈余。这个惠及数千万贫困人群的公益加社会企业的服务模式，让我们看到了有一点像印度德维谢蒂创办的心脏外科医院和亚拉文眼科医院的风采。这个让我们非常感到兴奋和意外。那么最近10年，我一直在研究中国和其他国家社会企业的异同，发现中国社会企业在发展领域和发展道路上有自己的独特之处。那么在世界各国，无论是穷国或者是富国，社会企业大多是指向金字塔底部的人员，指向弱势群体。但是呢，中国这个他们或者是帮助弱势群体，或者有的是在反转弱势，支持他们自立自强。但是中国存在很多社会问题乃至社会的痛点，可以说在中国社会痛点人人有份，社会企业人人需要。我们面临食品安全问题的困扰，民以食为天，这是天大的事情。我们面临空气污染、水污染、土壤污染和生态恶化的危机，保护生态环境，这是地大的事情。健康和养老领域存在着严重的供需矛盾。养老服务业需求10成，供给只有1成。健康养老，这是关系每一个人生命的命大的事情，所以是天大、地大、命大。那么我们还有很多公共服务领域存在供给不足的问题。党中央提出供给侧结构性改革，就是要补短板、回民生。最近，习近平总书记在党的19大报告当中指出， 我国社会主要矛盾已经转化为人民日益增长的美好生活需求和的不平衡不充分这个之间的矛盾。解决这个社会的主要矛盾，不仅是政府的责任，也是公益、商业和社会各界的共同责任。所以，用社会创新的思维，那么所有社会问题都是商机。借用管理大师德鲁克的话，他说：“只有把社会问题变成有利可图的机遇，社会问题才能最终得到解决。”从逻辑上讲，社会问题是每一个人都要面对的，是每一个人的痛点。为解决这些痛点，是有人愿意付费的，不是受益者个人付费，就是政府买单，或者是基金会资助、企业捐款，总之是有现金收入的。所以解决社会问题的事情，你真正做得好，能够满足社会刚需，不仅功德无量，而且前途远大。那是钱，人民币的钱。把解决社会痛点、满足人民对美好生活的需求作为使命的企业，就是我们心目中的社会企业。这些社会企业，他们坚持社会目标，如果不赚钱，要对他们表示尊重。企业实现了社会目标，还赚了钱，更应该为他们鼓掌欢呼，因为只有他们成功了、赚钱了、发展了，我们才有更好的未来，才有希望。至于他们赚了钱以后怎么安排，那是他们自己的权利和选择。难道我们社会受了他们的好处，还要绑架着他们，背着十字架，直到最后把他们钉死为止吗？那么，这是中国的社会企业的一个独特的特点，因为社会问题人人有份，社会企业人人需要。那么，中国社会企业的发展道路主要是民非加企业的双轮驱动模式。这个问题比较专业化，我虽然写了文字，我就不展开讲了。就是说，实际上从1998年开始，中国政府放开了这个公共服务领域，让民间的力量进来，但是规定只能是做公益，只能以公益登记，不能以商业登记。但是中国所有的几乎100%的教育、民办教育、民办医疗和大部分的民办养老，其实都是公司办的，背后都是公司。所以呢，公益加商业、公益加企业的这个模式，就是中国社会企业发展的一个独特的道路。那么最近，我在福建见到了2个人。我最近写了一本书，叫《公益向右，商业向左》。那么这2位是书中的主人公，一位是福建福州金太阳养老的创办人黄小荣，一位是厦门五旗人文学校的创办人张芳。这个2人在社会企业创业发展的历程，可谓是一悲一喜，冰火2重天，很具戏剧性，堪称教科书。那么2个机构都是10多年以前起步的，一个是养老的民非，一个是教育的民非，都是公益的模式。那么金太阳黄小荣2009年参加了英国大使馆文化处举办的社会企业家技能培训项目，了解了社会企业，开始走民非加公司的发展道路，逐步建立起一条规模化的养老服务产业链。已经有超过10万多老人受惠这个机构。2014年11月，习近平总书记视察了福州金太阳养老综合服务中心，称赞金太阳的养老服务模式。目前呢，金太阳已经获得北京北控集团投资，估值是1.9亿，业务扩张了10几个城市，他们计划2020年上市。那么五旗的张芳五旗学校，他在2004年，在厦门大学读 EMBA 时，他已经是有车有房的成功人士。为了帮助生产线上的农民工弟弟妹妹成才发展， 他一边读书一边创办了这个一家培训农民工的5期人文职业培训学校。同时呢，他在2004年完成了硕士论文，叫《5期机构对农民工再教育的商务发展模式的探索和思考》。5期学校在2007年的时候是风生水起，在厦门办了40个教学点，年收入几百万，而且呢，培训了8万名农民工，他们很多人成了公司白领。这个时候，张帆接受了社会企业的概念，但是他当时的理解，社会企业就是公益模式，就是非盈利机构，所以他决意放弃自己的个人利益，放弃财务一支笔，请来了公益人士做理事，开始高高举起了公益旗。那么当年呢，10年以前，我把5期学校介绍给投资家徐小平，徐小平看了以后惊呼啊，这又是一家新东方啊，打算给张帆投资，但是被张帆拒绝。他说我要做纯公益。没想到打公益牌的5期学校，各种麻烦集中而来。首先你赔了钱，人家说好，你为农民工服务就应该这样；有了利就受到了质疑，说不该赚农民工的钱。因为打公益牌之后，以前是痛痛快快交学费的学员也开始墨迹，说公益怎么还收钱呢？在道德的绑架下，张帆自己也喊出了我赔钱我光荣的口号。5期学校从此一蹶不振，苦苦支撑了10年之后，我写书的时候写5期案例，他还活着，这本书出版以后5期就死了，国庆前宣布关门。张帆说他这个到福建参加这个沙龙，他是以5期前校长的身份来的。好，最后我的总结性的话是，2位难能可贵的社会企业家真的都很优秀。一个黄小荣的养老机构公益向右，在社会企业道路上高歌猛进；一个张帆，他也是公益，结果往左转，在道德绑架上苦苦挣扎了10年，壮烈牺牲。2个案例值得深入研究，尤其是张帆的失败会带给我们许多思考。如果张帆能把他的失败的教训写下来，留给后来的社会企业家作为境界，能够让他们少走很多弯路。正所谓失败是成功之母，如果这样，张帆失败的价值也许比他的成功的价值更大。谢谢大家。
永光老师提出一个很值得我们深思的问题，我想大家别人会有很多疑问跟评论哈，拜托大家现在就可以把这个问题打上去。那现在呢，我们就请那个李静怡博士讲一讲这个他对这个公益跟社会企业在香港发展的一些经验分享。李博士。
谢谢 Patrick。事实上，刚才徐老师有一点呢，我是非常同意的，就是呢，通点是人人有份。那么这个呢，就是我们10年来搞这个社会企业这个运动，在香港推动这个事情的一个理念，就是觉得，我们社会的问题不只是政府或者是传统的非盈利机构或者 NGO 来负责提供这个福利就解决这个问题，而是呢，我们所有界别的人都有这个责任，或者也有这一个能力去一块来解决这个问题。这个就真正是我们过去10年，一直大家跟 Patrick Ada 各大家一块来推动，这个社会企业的一个重要的一点。今天呢，我就想呢，大家看见刚才特首来参加这个讲话是跟以前讲的非常不一样的。这个就表示到呢，整个政府呢现在对于这个社会创新和他们的部分领头也能够推动上界和各个界别来参与这个社会创新呢，已经成为香港一个潮流。那这个当然跟我们国内的情况最不一样的地方是什么呢？我觉得第一呢，就是因为国内的非盈利机构或者叫 NGO 没香港这个发达，没那么成熟， 而香港呢，在这方面呢，这个 NGO 这个 sector 呢，几十年来跟政府的合作是一个成熟的一个界别，也是一个比较重要的界别。但是呢，在国内呢，问题比香港严重、庞大。你们是贫穷讲几千万人口，我们香港就是说，10% 就是40万或者100万人，这个差很远。那么，但是呢，因为他们问题的严峻呢，所以呢，就再加上这个 NGO 的这个界别，他们比较弱一点，所以这个非盈利企业或者企业去投入成为影响力投资，透过影响力投资 impact investment 来。就是成为一个企业来推动解决社会问题，我觉得这个就是中国有最大特色的一个地方。这个可能徐永基老师不会完全同意我，但是在香港呢，我们这10年，我们发现呢，就是我们能够推动每一个界别来参与，觉得他们都觉得，我们对社会问题的解决是有份呢。这一个过程也不是一个容易的事情。但是今天呢，我非常高兴看见呢，这个气氛已经调动起来了。那么剩下的问题呢，我看见呢，就是我也想就是带动一个新的讨论，就是我觉得现在我们的问题呢，就是跨专业的合作，在我们未来的社会创新一个重要性。那刚才呢的讨论里边已经提出一个，譬如说就是设计 （design thinking） 跟这个解决社会问题之间的一个互动和一个解决问题的，就是 co-create 共创一些新的方案出来。那么我们怎么样呢？能够调动我们不同的专业，从民间到政府，我们能够到上界一块互动，来推动我们香港在下一个阶段的社会创新呢？我觉得可能就是我们大家共同要去探讨、去讨论，甚至于呢去比较具体的去实现的一个另一阶段要发展的一个方向。那么从这一点呢，我就想呢，就是说，今天我们在香港就不只是纯粹说，社会问题是政府和非牟利机构 NGO 来负责的问题，而是呢整个社会大家一块来参与，一块来推动，一块来面对问题和提供有效的解决的方案的一个重要的时刻。那么我觉得这个呢，我就在这点就是停下来，或者就先引起这个推动，让我们有更多的时间讨论。好，那就我把这个时间就交给Patrick。
好，谢谢李博士。我看到已经有很多问题了，但作为那个主持人，我有可能有一个特权呢，我先问一个问题。这个刚才永光老师也点出了这个社企在中国的特殊意义啊。包括这个中国面对的社会问题很多，它的公共领域供应又不足，所以呢就是有一个突突的发展。但是呢，此服这个结论就是哇，做公益的会死得很惨，做那个社会企业的话，那个前途无限啊！你说的前途无限，但是我们也理解，其实公益是基于一种人的同理心，互相帮忙这个需要。是没有私心的，社会上存在很多这样的需求，而企业是基于这个 self-interest 自身利益驱动所做成的那个企业，这两者是不是没有共融的地方呢？有没有共通的地方呢？有可能李静怡博士也可以凭你的经验讲一下，是不是公益有它服务的范围？社企又有它服务的范围，不一定是两个是对冲呢？
无论是公益还是企业，其实有一点必须是一致的，就是说要讲求有效性，一定要有效。现在呢，这个因为商业呢，假如无效，它就要死掉；但是公益呢，有时候没有效。果它还是能够活着啊，但是呢，活的效率很低。那么这个呢，就是说，同样面对一些问题呢，往往商业它是效率更高。另外一个呢，就是在解决社会问题这个上面，我刚才讲了，就是说，你如果是公益的那种烧钱模式，它是烧不起的，它越 走它越难，最后它就停止了。但是商业呢，如果把社会问题里面找到商机，它就能够这个可以做大，可以真正把社会问题能够解决了，而且它还能够持续的发展。所以这里的区别是非常大的。我刚才讲的那个初级卫生保健这个基金会这个群体，他们汇集了8000万人，但是他们烧钱不多，他们就是找到了一个服务贫困人群，而且向他们收费。他们收费呢，他的这个费用是医院的1/5到1/10，结果他们的这个和他们合作的公司还能够赚钱。你看，如果公益怎么可能维持呢？就很难维持。
我都同意徐老师的这个讲法，就是呢，一个社会企业呢，我们一般就是说要达到双重底线。第一呢，当然就是它运作的效率；第二呢，就是它能够有这个市场，它找到这个成本和这个服务之间的这个平衡。但是呢，我们看到呢，在这个社会企业有一点呢，我们会觉得跟商业有一个相同的地方，就是有一个共同的热心去坚持他们面对的困难，去解决这个社会的问题。因为事实上，尤其是我们在香港这个成本这么高的一个地方，如果呢我们不能够呢去坚持我们怎么解决问题，就是我们高的租金、高的这个人力成本，这个情况下边呢，能够提供到一个社会公益的服务呢，这一点呢就是我们要大家共同去解决、去面对。但是呢，这个热心、这个热情，对这个社会问题的这个回应的这种决心呢，我看就是大家都是一样的。但是我也很高兴见到我们香港也有一些的商业的朋友，在台下的也有一些朋友，他们呢对于就是承担这些社会问题，用创新的思维去帮助解决问题，是有一定的负担的。我觉得这个是一个很高兴见到这个情况，就是在存在着。
有可能我要请2位讲者都要站起来，这样比较好看一点。我们选一个最多人问的题目嘛，在国内大部分商业机构现在都是以利润为最大化为目标，请问如何可以令他们转化成为持份者创造效益为企业目标？我想这个是问永光老师的吧。
这个是毫无问题的。国内的绝大多数企业都是为了赚钱，甚至是急功近利他们不是在解决社会问题。很多企业是制造了不安全的食品，污染了环境，实际上是在制造社会问题。但是我们讲社会企业，它就是一个超越这个传统的企业，它恰恰是为了把问题解决了作为它的目标。但是要解决问题呢，公益和商业就不一样。公益它要烧钱，商业它还能赚钱，所以呢，它能够把解决问题的规模就可以扩大。还有呢，在国内还有一个问题，我先不说了，就先说这个问题。
有补充吗？
没有。
那我选下一条吧。很多政府部门和那个商业机构都出现不同程度的贪污和公器私用等浪费的资源，增加企业成本的情况底下，医院病人要派红包，铁路有黄牛，连赈灾的物资都被挪用。社会企业如何能避免以上的情况呢？怎么样去善用社会资源解决社会问题？
这个问题呢，又跳出了社会企业本身了你说政府腐败，那么对所有的机构都会存在着，它不仅对社会企业、对企业、对公益机构都有可能，是吧？都有可能，这不单是一个社会企业面临的问题。但是作为社会企业呢，它恰恰有一个好处，因为它真的是在解决社会问题而且呢，它是非常有效。结果呢，政府有时候在这个购买服务的时候、采购服务的时候，往往他们还比较喜欢企业， 因为企业它有规模有效。比如说政府盖了一个杭州盖了一个有2000个床位的养老机构招标，那么做公益的想拿到这个标几乎不可能，因为它要求能力很强这个你有实力，所以最后呢就是有8个机构都是商业机构竞争最后是绿康拿到了这个项目那确实是这样的一个社会企业它确实是非常有力量的你要看看绿康，你都会震撼的它的设施服务几乎达到了5星级的水平，但是收费很低3000到5000，包括这个床位费这个伙食费、护理费、医药费，全部的费用3000到5000。为什么？因为设施基本上都是政府提供的，是企业来运作，所以成本很低，这就需要能力，没有能力不行。
我看刚才这个问题Patrick 就是有关于就是社会的一个文化，再加上呢有没有这个机构管制的文化的问题。那么这个情况呢，我们就是在香港这个地区都非常重视的。那么关键呢，就是怎么样在一个社会企业也好，是一个非盈利机构也好，或者甚至是政府自己部门也好，他们能够在这个机构管制方面能够保持一个高水平、高标准。那么其中一个当然是公众监察是一个重要的一个原因，能够提高这个水平。另外一个当然就是机构本身内部的管制的这一个能力和这个意识。能不能够为这个文化打破它的主流的这个方向呢，是一个重要的一点来的。
对对对，当然这个贪污问题跟那个管制问题这个都有关联的而且刚才永光老师讲到，就是说有个医院还是养老院要招标的话，在国内的情况就是完全是私人企业占了优势。但是好像我们在香港，往往在这样的情况底下，都是 NGO 的优势因为他们有经验、有专业、有他们比较受到政府的信任，而且我听说在国内现在你做民非的话，在那个社区安老，政府也会比较倾向你，只要你能做的话。他会比较倾向民非，就是 NGO 了，比那个商业多。但是从这个高度来说呢，我们要看比方特首他还是中国政府中央政府，我到底要解决社会问题，我应该多一点去创办更多的公益企业，还是说鼓励更多的社会企业的出现呢？哪一条路呢？不知道两位有在这个高度有没有些分享
？Peter 讲的特别准确，就是往往社区的那个居家养老 NGO 采购，它可能还有一些优势，但是机构养老要运作一个大的设施，往往是公司有优势。但是总的倾向呢还是公司目前发展比较快。就是19大以前，中央电视台播出了一个将改革进行到底。里面讲到养老，就是养老设施是由政府建设、公司运营的，他都没有提到 NGO
那这个也是回到我们香港的文化或者背景跟国内的有一点不一样的地方。就是我个人认为呢，就是刚才我讲这一点，就是是不是 B Corp 还是社会企业，还是 NGO 还是商业机构，才能够更有效来回应这些社会问题呢？我觉得呢，这个就是第一，你这个机构的运作的理念是什么？第二呢，香港不同的机构都有不同的传统。比如说我自己负责的一个 NGO，福利协会，我们就是一个比较大的一个 NGO， 所以我们整体来说是有这个能力去回应各种问题，但是当然也不能够全部问题我们会回应。能不能够呢？我们在未来的发展呢，就是第一，透过我们跨专业，就是第一，不是只是社工。而且呢，还有设计师，还有商业的机构， 大家来合作一起回应其他的问题、社会的问题呢？那我看现在呢，这一个是我们在香港一个突有的一个方向。那么第二个呢，就是我们的社会企业呢，现在透过各种的政府的一个分领的这个资助下边呢，慢慢的去冒起来，但是还是相对来说比较少型的、微型的一些小型的机构。那么他们还需要呢，在机构管制呢，在这个市场，在对社会问题的专业化下面的做出一个回应。除了创新之外，怎么把专业结合起来？这个就是我们在香港这方面未来去面对的，怎么把我们的一起来共同解决问题有更好的方法的一条路。
我想我听到的也是一个这样的精神哈。这个解决社会问题不光是政府的责任，也不是 NGO 的只有 NGO 有能力，还是商业去解决，而是说我们所有人都有责任，所有人都要创新在互相沟通合作的过程中找到一些新的方案哈。
所以最后就是 mindset 的问题了。
刚才这个走了有一个问题，这个闪了很久，就是说，既然大家说了这个社会企业这问题也很多，那是不是我们干脆推这个 B Corp 好了？这个让这个我们就忘掉那种规模太小的那个社会企业，就拼命去把这个主流商业，好像这个 Carrie 讲这个 share value， 把主流商业都引向 B Corp， 就解决我们的问题了，是这样吗？
我特别赞成。我在内地，我反对现在搞什么标准。首先，你社会企业这个概念一塌糊涂，根本说不清楚，搞什么标准了？有个 B cover， 这个标准很好啊，大家去申请吧，是吧？现在当然呢，这个内地大概有5、6家，香港的也有几家，台湾多一点。现在我希望能够B cover、B lab 在大陆内地能够落地。将来我们要引导很多企业去申请 B Corp， 非常好，省得争论了，而且拿到一个国际的美国的这个标准，其实也是很牛的他们的生意会发展得更好。
谢谢徐老师，但是我个人都有一点不同的想法就是尤其是在香港的，虽然我在这个社会企业论坛跟 Patrick 跟 Alan 我们一块来推动这个 B Corp 这一个运动，这个我个人非常支持。但是呢，我觉得如果在整个生态来看的话呢，我反而觉得我们能够在短期内呢是百花齐放。那么其中一个原因呢，我看见呢，现在我们一些小型、微型的那些社会企业呢，是带出很多青年人他们对于这个投入社会创新的这个责任、这个表现。那么这些的机会呢，就能够透过社会企业呢，让我们的青年人能够在他们毕业之后，用他们的创新的思维来成立做他们自己有兴趣，然后去做实现。pilot 或者 experiment， 大家一块来做好它。但是公益企业呢，就是 B Corp 呢，我们现在在香港呢，主要还是目前希望能够推动企业，他们能够呢更加就是加强他们对社会目标的一个参与，一同来解决社会问题为主。所以跟我们在国内的这个情况，就在这方面，我觉得暂时是好像有点分流。但是我看主要就是有2个不同的模型出来，是不是有更好？我们将来更多机会互相互动讨论。
好，我们做一点交流。时间问题，最后一个问题，我觉得这个也很有意思的。他问是怎么样建立对社会企业的那个信任？其实国内的情况，永光老师也知道，很多挂羊头卖狗肉了，是吧？你就说我要什么社会目标，但是其实钱拿来了，他又没有什么好像民非还是我们香港的那个慈善团体这么多管制。所以他拿了捐款人的钱，拿了捐款人的资源，有可能都是谋私利了。那怎么去解决这个问题呢？
社会企业怎么样取得信任？社会企业就是商业嘛，既然它就是商业，它要提供，它又抓住了社会问题，它又有效地解决了社会问题，又把这个做成一门生意，那个信任，是必须的。如果没有信任，谁买单呢？所以我觉得，社会企业如何取得信任和商业如何取得信任，我感觉是一回事。你是不是真正提供了服务 而且呢，社会企业有一条像 B Corp 要求要公开透明，公开透明能够证明你说的和做的它是里外是一致的，这个也很重要。
那个社会企业怎么取得民众的信任的？
这个信任对，不好意思，我觉得这个问题可能就是每一个机构或者一个企业，他们都需要建立公众对他信任的一个努力吧。应该跟社会企业和一般的其他机构都没什么分别。一个NGO 它也可以做一些事情出来，让人家对他失去信心，都可以哈。这个是应该我觉得没分别。
好，时间已经够了，我们是不是能用热烈的掌声，谢谢两位的分享然后呢，我也趁这个机会推荐这个大家在外面可以有的卖的《公益向右，商业向左》这本书在中国的公益界弄了一个原子弹，所以很多的争论，但是我觉得从这个争论里面呢，大家都可以思考得更深，而且那个我们9号7点在 Dream Impact 还有一个2个小时深热的那个讨论会，也要是有兴趣参加的，这个向秘书处再询问。好，谢谢大家。
谢谢3位，请继续留步。非常有内涵的一个讨论。现在有请李正仪博士及张瑞麟先生致送纪念品给徐永光老师。So may we invite Dr. Jane Lee and Mr. Patrick Jung to present a souvenir to Mr. Xu. 谢谢，有请3位就座。Thank you all, and please be seated. Yes, please be seated. So here comes to the end of the first day of International Symposium. Your feedback is extremely invaluable to us, so I invite you to fill out the questionnaire on your seat, and our helpers will collect it. And please also be reminded to return the headset for our simultaneous interpretation at the door. Tomorrow, we have prepared a series of breakout sessions and workshops for you to participate. The registration will start at 8:30 a.m. on the 4th floor, and the first session will begin at 9 a.m. So don't miss it. And please be reminded to bring back your guest badge so to save your time for admission. For participants of the Business for Social Good Outstanding Award Evening, please enjoy the cocktail party outside in the concourse and return to the hall by 5:45 p.m. Please enjoy. 國際研討會嘅第一日咧，正式圓滿結束。大會咧非常之重視咧大家嘅意見，咁希望大家咧可以幫我哋咧一齊填呢一份問卷，咁填妥之後咧可以交俾我哋嘅工作人員。咁大家離開之前咧，記得去到大門前邊咧交還即時傳譯嘅耳機。咁聽日咧仲有一系列非常之精彩嘅活動等大家參與，有請大家喺8點半嘅時候咧去到4樓進行登記。第一個環節咧會喺9點正開始嘅，萬勿錯過。而雙社共生傑出大獎頒獎禮嘅參加者咧，可以先移步到外邊咧參加呢個雞尾酒會。咁請大家咧喺5點45分咧可以翻嚟展館。頒獎禮咧就會準時喺6點正開始。多謝大家。